Well, hello. As we lean into those fall dishes that you can come in and make on a weeknight, make on a weekend, I love to use things that can be both occasion when you're having people over or just any time for your family. So this is all about the wonderful flavors of cabbage with apples and roasted pork chops all together in one skillet, which is what I love. So we're gonna start with the pork chops. I have some bone-in pork chops because I think that bone adds more flavor. I think it helps retain better moisture in the pork chop, but I always like to add a good dry rub to them first, which a dry rub is really just salt with some spices. That's gonna help really intensify the wonderful already occurring juices in the pork, but help them retain better. So I'm gonna start with the base, which is salt. So a dry rub really is mostly about the salt. That's what's really making the dry rub. And you wanna use a lot of salt because this is where you actually are putting that salt to mix with the meat, pull out the juices, kind of salinate all those juices and go back in so it really retains. To that salt, I'm gonna add some garlic powder. So this is kind of a take on a classic rub that my mom always uses on a pork roast. You know, we always had pork growing up a lot of times, and this is kind of something she would do, and it's delicious. After the onion powder, I added some garlic powder. So garlic powder and onion powder, which I like to use powders here because they really work in with the salt well. You don't have pieces. Then a little bit of allspice. Now allspice can go way too far too quickly, so we're not doing a lot, but it really pulls in those fall spices and works really well with pork, let alone the cabbage and the apples. It's delicious. We're gonna add some black pepper. I like to use freshly ground. You don't have to. If you have it ground, don't worry about it. I'm gonna put that in and then I'm just gonna mix it all up. So you have the salt, you have those spices, which sometimes that garlic and onion powder, you really need to make sure works in there because it can kind of get clumpy. Even though I try all the tricks, keep it upside down, it still can get clumpy. So already I'm getting the smells of all that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these pork chops and we're just going to cover them with this perfect rub, which is pretty much just a great brine. So brining originally would have been more used with water. You would have put a lot of salt into water and then submerged your meat. Sometimes people do that, you know, with their turkeys at Thanksgiving. The thing is, that can be a mess. It's kind of annoying. Seems like a waste. This is a great way to get it directly on the meat, and you don't have to go to all that work. So I'm making sure to sprinkle it all over. It looks generous. It is generous. And believe me, it's totally worth it. So I'm gonna then flip them all over and make sure I do both sides. That's the important thing here. You wanna really make sure you're getting this all over on the meat because that's what's really gonna help. Make sure that you're getting it well seasoned, you're gonna get all that moisture on it, and that's what you want because pork chops can tend, if you don't know how to work with them, you could get them to be dry, which that's no fun. I think they can be a really great meat when you work with them correctly, kind of just like a chicken where when it's worked correctly, it picks up flavors of other meat, but it also has its own flavor that's really good, so you wanna start with a good quality one. So once you have it on both sides, I sometimes will kind of even go onto the sides. These do have a little bit thicker cut, so if I can, I will make sure. What I like about pork, it doesn't have a lot of fat in it, so you don't have those big ribbons of fat or big pieces of fat. If you do, you can kind of just slice some of them off. And then what I'm gonna do is put this back in the fridge for, it can be 1 to 2 hours. It doesn't need to be a long time because this isn't like a big cut of beef that can take longer. Instead, this is gonna go pretty quickly. And if it sits on too long, it could tenderize it too much. So I'm gonna wash my hands. We're gonna put this in the fridge. When it's ready, we're gonna move on. These have dry brined in the fridge, and how you know is they get tacky. You can kind of see the tops of them get kind of wet and pasty looking. That's exactly what you want. That means the salt pulled out the juices of the pork, worked with it, went back in, and is really seasoning and flavoring it. So now we're gonna take them over and we're gonna brown them on both sides. Not fully cook them, but just give them a nice crust, just like that good golden crust that you want. So I have my skillet. I'm just using a cast iron skillet, and it's all gonna be made in here. I'm gonna start by searing them on both sides. So I have a little bit of oil, and you get that nice good sear right from the beginning. When they release from the bottom, I'll know it's time to turn them, and we'll get them on both sides and then move on. As they get kind of some nice golden brown on both sides, which you just wanna get that nice kind of crust beginning on them, and it's also gonna leave some of that great flavor in the pan, which thankfully we're doing all this in one pan. So I'm gonna leave all that in there. It has the residual oil, it has all those spices. We're gonna add some onions, just some sliced kind of onion. I like to kind of keep it in bigger slices because I want it to really hold up, and it's gonna go really well then with everything else we're doing here. So we're gonna put in the onion, we're gonna let it slowly start sauteing, let it get a little bit of color, but not too much. And whenever I start getting my onion going, I always put make sure to put a little bit of salt on it. That's gonna help it break down quicker, but it also is just seasoning as we go. So we're gonna let that sit with all those oils and juices and flavors. While that's sauteing, we're gonna get the cabbage ready. So I'm starting with a beautiful red cabbage from the garden, and you always have to take a few of those outer leaves off, whether you grow it, buy it, whatever it is. And they're just kind of a little tough on the outside usually, kind of can sometimes have dirt. I've washed it, but I want to just cut this in half. We're gonna use half for this. And cabbage can tend to be pretty tight if it's growing well, so it can take a little bit to get through it, but look at that beautiful head of cabbage. Now you can use a green cabbage. Flavor-wise, you're gonna get the same. What I like is the red just kind of adds that more autumnal, I think, feel to it, and I just like that. It also, of course, it's good to have different colors that you're eating because that gives you different nutrients and different things too. So I again cut it in half and get kind of quarters out of it, and I'm gonna slice these quarters. Now I like to hand slice them because I like it to have kind of a good grit to it or a good texture to it. So I don't want to do it so fine that I'm going to use a cabbage shredder. Instead, you can see I'm getting these nice pieces out of it, and that's what I want. I don't want it to be so fine that it's going to just kind of melt into what we're having. You want to kind of keep that cabbage and really keep that texture once everything's going. So I'm going to finish slicing this up. We'll eventually add it to the onions as they cook down, and it's going to all come together. As these cook down, you can see they really start picking up some of those flavors in the browning from the pork chops. So I'm gonna kind of deglaze it a little bit and add some apple cider vinegar. So we're getting already the beginnings of that appley note, and you can see how it pulls up those juices and those drippings we want. I'm gonna add a little bit of mustard. Dijon mustard adds kind of that good funkiness, that tanginess. And I think it just really adds something kind of to it. And I just wanna get that kind of worked in there a little bit. Kind of get pushed around. Look at all that beautiful, it's almost like a little bit of a pan sauce. We're gonna add just a little bit more of ground cinnamon. I mean, actually, it's allspice, that's what I meant. But it gives you those fall notes, and it also works with cabbage really well. We have some in the pork already, so it kind of just ups it already. And then a little bit of black pepper. And then I'm gonna add in all that cabbage that we shredded. So at first it looks like a lot, but what does cabbage do? It really breaks down. And it really cooks down. So you want to get it in there so it can start kind of working down. That sauce will really help it cook down. We're gonna get it to start softening. We're gonna get our apples chopped up, we'll add them, we'll put everything together. It's gonna be a one skillet meal. I'm chopping up some golden delicious apples. And so we're doing this whole play of kind of, if you've ever had applesauce or stewed apples in pork chops or sauerkraut in pork chops, this is kind of a fresh take on that. I know some people don't like sauerkraut, but cooked cabbage, I feel like can be a lot more universal. It can be a lot more things that people enjoy. And especially with a great apple in it too, you're gonna get that crunch and the sweetness of the apple. I think it's gonna play well with the tanginess. I just love it together. So we have our apples. You can see that the cabbage has already starting to soften. It's really started to cook down. And before I add the pork chops back, I like to put my apples in and let them just begin to soften too. So I'm gonna give them a couple minutes, then we'll just put the pork chops on top. We'll put it all into the oven to finish up, and we'll be good to go. You can see that the cabbage keeps cooking down. The apples are just beginning maybe to get a little bit of softness to them, which I like. And look how they are. It's such a festive fall dish, yeah, weeknights can be festive. So we're gonna add these pork chops back just on top. So the pork chops we browned, but they're not at all done cooking. So we need to put them on top so they actually get, cooked throughout in the middle, and don't wanna overcook them, and that's why we pre-cooked the cabbage and the apples. So we set them on top. We put all this now into our oven, let them finish cooking. The cabbage will kind of braise with the apples. It's gonna be good, and it's gonna be a great meal, and that's what I love about it. So just remember your cast iron handle is gonna be just as hot. So put it right in with a hot pan, and it'll be done. So I took this out a few minutes ago. Anytime you do a meat, it's good to take it out about 5 degrees under what you want it to get to, and then let it rest for like 10 minutes at least, so it can that residual heat will continue to cook it, bring it up to the correct temperature, and then it kind of cools down and kind of slowly lets the juices redistribute so you don't just get it all overcooked. So I'm gonna set one of those over there, grab a few of these right here and put them on my plate. This is what I love. It's all together. Look how beautiful it is. It's so seasonal, and you get kind of that gorgeous pan sauce or almost like a braising liquid with it. I love that. So you could serve the pork chop whole, I like to slice some off when I'm gonna eat it. I think it's just easier, especially when you have it with the bone. But look at that beautiful, look at that pork. It's so beautiful. And you get those beautiful pieces, and there's a lot of good moisture to it, which is what you want. You want it to have a lot of that good, not get dry, and you can put obviously more on there, but this is just for me, because I want to taste it. This is the best part. You can pull it out for your family. If you're having people over though, it is so festive, so cozy, and actually really delicious. So I'm gonna take a little bit, I like to have it together if I can. So you get some of that beautiful cabbage. I want a piece of that, the pork. It's still hot. Guys. Okay, well-seasoned pork that is dry brined will blow your mind because it is good pork. You actually get this pork flavor along with those spices and that rub we put on it. And look how juicy it is. It is not dry meat. I hate when someone kills the meat again in the oven. You don't need to do that. And when you put it with this kind of like slight spice on the cabbage and the apple, and you get that tanginess of the apple and the sweetness, it is so good. And it's exactly what you want in the fall because it pulls together for a great dish. It's not sauerkraut. It is this beautiful cooked cabbage, those tangy sweet apples, along with the pork. It's a great dish and it marries together. So share this around. Why? Yeah, it helps me, but it helps everyone see great food at home is easy to make, in season, great things, whether you get it from a farmer's market for your produce, from your garden, from a friend, from the grocery store. It's delicious, it's nutritious, and it's how we should all eat. So share it around, try this out, check my website, wiseguide.com, for this recipe. All my other recipes, they can be printed off, and that's where I'm at. So until then, I hope you try some great food, because that's the point. Try some good food.